What's up, YouTube world? This is Scott from the Common Pleb Militia. Just driving into work here. Mid-morning start. Had some appointments this morning, as I had stated in another short. But yeah, something that was on my mind, I just wanted to put out there. This isn't going to be a really long video. But I think it's important. Because a lot of times, the way I was raised was with a mindset, and I'm not just talking about immediate family, but the generations ahead of me that were more established or are more established, maybe retired or on their way to retirement or the peak of their career. Oftentimes, and Dave Ramsey talks about this a lot as well, right? Pinch your pennies, save your money, delayed gratification, and someday you will enjoy the fruits of your labor. And although I do believe that there's some merit to that, and I think it comes down to how you want to live your life, because there's multiple ways to get to the finish line, right? In terms of like achievements. I'm not talking about death or anything morbid like that, but I'm talking about throughout life, if you have goals and aspirations and passions and achievements and milestones that you want to accolades that you want to achieve, there's struggles with that, right? It's not always a straight line to success. When I talk about success, I'm talking about your physical health, your mental health, addictions you may have, vices, maybe the negative aspects of your personality and your character that are flaws that you need to work on. We all have good and bad times. As Andrew Tate says, there's no, and many people, which is kind of a generic statement, but there's truth to it, kind of cliche, but there's no light without dark, right? And I've been accused before from my spouse, maybe other people, and some will say it bluntly, depending on their relationship with me, and others will be more passive aggressive or say it, say it in a subtle way. But oftentimes I'm told there's no shortcut to success. There's no get-rich-quick scheme. And I also think that there's some merit to that. But not everything in life is black and white, Some things there's a gray area, right? There's merit on both sides. I've seen people become multimillionaires from purchasing a domain, right? I don't know them personally, but I talked to GoDaddy, one of the brokers that sells URLs. And with this whole AI, artificial push, this happened with the .com boom era, where people were purchasing URLs that they thought were, big businesses were going to come in and scoop up. Well, you hold the rights to that domain, even if you paid pennies on the dollar. If somebody wants that name, they're going to pay you big money. And I think it was called AI.com, and it sold for somebody bought the domain, the original owner, back in 1993. And in the last year or two, we're in 2025, so I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 2022, 2023, the GoDaddy broker told me somebody bought it for something like $220 million, AI.com. Now, that's a big span of time between 1993 till then, but that's also a shit ton of money, right? All things considered, if we're talking about the median average on what people make in their lifetimes and net worths and average salaries, right? So I think this is a mindset that I have, and you may disagree with it, but I've always tried to think a little differently and try to analyze things and realize, okay, the pack is going this way, and there's nothing wrong with following the pack and following the crowd, but if you do that, expect the same results. You can't have extraordinary results. You can't beat the system financially. You can't get yourself in tip-top shape if you're going home and masturbating and watching Netflix every night and smoking weed, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not one to judge, right? We all have our vices, but you're not going to become ripped, unless you're shooting up fucking steroids and, hacking your way there with supplements and shit. But for the most part, right? I know it's a weird analogy, but in essence, you have to do extraordinary things, and we all have to, we all want to live and enjoy life, And there's pros and cons to the hustle, kind of crowd and agenda as well. No one knows if tomorrow's promised, right? And you are ultimately the only one that can decide who you are as a person, what drives you, what your goals are, what is your purpose on this life. Do you have a legacy to leave for your kids? Maybe you don't have children, but you're passionate about something. Pets, dogs, horses. You want to leave, children's, cancer research. I don't know. Maybe you have nephews and nieces or extended family and you don't have kids, but you want to make sure that the future generations in your family, immediate family or around that immediate family, don't struggle. They don't have to be wage slaves, right? So I'm just talking about finances. So maybe you want to leave generational wealth for them, and that's a big goal to achieve, and it's certainly not easy. I mean, we're all swimming upstream with inflation here. So back to the purpose of this channel, which I've said on multiple videos, and I feel very passionate about this. I'm not just trying to start a YouTube channel to make money and spew fucking bullshit. I already have another YouTube channel. I've already accepted the fact that these things will probably never get monetized. You're going to need like 30,000 subscribers before you start making like $700 to $1,500 a month in ad revenue, and that's with long form content, right? I'm not here to make money off ads. I'm just here to put out content. I do have some referral links. They help me out. I like meme coin trading. I'm big into like economics and investing and finance and trading. So I have some referral links for that. Maybe someday this does get monetized. I don't know. I mean, I'm using my fucking iPhone in my car, and I'm nobody special. All right. I don't expect to. And I'm, with this camera angle, I look like kind of strange, anyways. So it's not necessarily a thumbnail that's going to attract a bunch of people to watch my videos. But if anything, I'm just putting it out there for practice. Maybe I'll become a better speaker someday. Maybe I'll look at this video and realize all the things that I did wrong and that I can improve. So whatever, man, it is what it is. But if you could take anything away from this and you're still watching the video, I would argue that to analyze everything that you see, and when somebody tells you, just because 85-95% of the people that you know are Roth IRA millionaires or whatever, man, like they went the traditional route and they invested in Apple like 40 years ago, and now they're a millionaire in their retirement account. Awesome. Is that what you want to do? If it is, follow their advice. If you, maybe you're like, you know what, man, I don't want to work my whole life to enjoy my last 10 or 20, maybe 30 years on this earth before I die. I'd like to create wealth earlier. So and if that's the case, then you have to look at, what can I do differently that other people aren't doing? When it comes to making money and leveraged money, if you're looking at it from a business aspect, you need to bring value to the marketplace, right? Elon Musk is as rich as he is because he created PayPal, I believe, and that was a valuable asset. And he sold it, and that's where he made his money, right? And now he's got SpaceX and Tesla going, and he's created some pretty big empires. Those are pretty big, lofty goals to achieve, and there's a hell of a lot of risk that comes with that. But if we look at its core on his success, it's because he took a risk. He invested his blood, sweat, tears, time, and energy. A lot of people don't know that Elon Musk is, there's some days he can't even get out of bed. He's probably debilitated from fucking stress, But all people see is that this guy made all this money, and then they demonize him. And these retards get on Twitter and just start bitching and crying and moaning about how he cheated life, and he's related to this person, his dad owned a mine, and he should be paying more in tax. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. What have you accomplished in your life, right? Before you start casting stones on everybody else around you, why don't you have some fucking introspection in yourself and realize your flaws, because you're not fucking perfect. None of us are, right? So understand yourself. What are the positive aspects of yourself and characteristics, and what are some of the negatives? And work to improve yourself. And if you improve yourself and you start thinking differently, you have more mental clarity, you might start seeing opportunities. You might start positioning yourself where you're like, fuck, man, I got burnt on that pump and dump. What did I take away from this? What did I learn from this scenario? Okay? Trump coin, when I invested, I'm not even going to call it investing, right? I knew it was going to be a fucking pump and dump. And maybe it does recover. But I've been burned so many fucking times that I knew I'm just catching this for the magic carpet ride to to get some crazy return, and then I'm out, dude. Even if it's fucking McDonald's money. So my $15 turned into $550. Why? Because I knew all things considered, the catalyst, the name, the brand he's created for himself, the cult-like following. I'm not political. I don't give a fuck. I'm here to make money, okay? And that's not a lot of money. Obviously, I wish if I had like $10,000 or $50,000, I'd be fucking set right now if that happened, because that was a 40 times return. So I learned, okay, Scott, I didn't have enough money to position myself to make more money off that. I was in the right time at the right place. Okay, I was, but I didn't have enough money on the table. So then I have to rewind and say, well, why didn't you have enough money on the table? Okay, well, your debt to income ratio is too high. Well, how do I fix that? I need to either increase my income in my or find a second source of cash flow, or reduce my debts, and or both, right? So the ability to think clearly, position yourself, learn from your mistakes, learn what your flaws are, try to improve your flaws. That's fucking easier said than done. If you can't do it and you got some vices that have a stranglehold on you, then at least try to double down or triple down on the positive characteristics of yourself that are going to help you improve your life on all fronts, or one front. If money is, everyone's always like, oh, life's not all about money. Dude, it's kind of hard to focus on your mental health and your physical health when you're broke as shit, unless you're single and you're like 48 and the only responsibility you have is a fucking aqua plant. And if that's you, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just saying that if you have kids in 2025, it's fucking hard and things are expensive, and you gotta white knuckle, man. You gotta this is a war, dude. It is a war. It's a battleground out there, and it's fucking cutthroat. And if you're gonna be an entrepreneur, or you're gonna run some type of consistent business that, most businesses statistically shut their doors after like 3 to 5 years. They either get in trouble with taxes because they're not paying their taxes. They're not managing their money right. I mean, dude, I've been there, man. Not with taxes, but I've been there with like managing money, dude. When you're dealing with large sums of money and then you have another month that's like dried up, you got winter where your work gets cut by a quarter, you have to start groveling for work and doing 50% rate cuts to put bread on the table. It's fucking demoralizing, dude. And that's why most people can't handle entrepreneurship and they can't handle business, right? They can't handle the game, but they have no problem sitting on the sidelines and flapping their fucking gums about, being all high and mighty and the right way people should do things and the wrong way things are being done. So if you could take anything from this, we're at 12 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up here. The next time somebody tells you that there's no get-rich-quick scheme, that there is. I wouldn't even call it schemes. There's ways to get wealthy fast. Follow a trend. People started fidget spinners drop shipping and they were making 6 digits in a month. Okay? That is a way to get rich quick. If you take that 6 digits and you don't blow it on something retarded and you put it into another strategic investment, maybe 3/4 of that, now you're into like asset protection. So 3/4 you might want to put in the money market account, and then you've got 1/4 to play with where you can be more risk averse, right? And put it into another meme coin, right? Now you got 25 grand to play with. Imagine if I turned 25 grand as a 40x return. Now you got more money to play with, which you can compound and do the same thing. Pay down your debts, reinvest, asset protection, put into high risk, capital ventures or high risk avenues. So I hope that makes sense for today. I guess if there's any message you can take away at the end of the day, it's just caution what people give you for advice, man. If you're taking advice from somebody, you should be asking yourself, what have they accomplished, and are they the person that I strive to be? Or at the very least, are they in a position that I aspire to be in? Okay, and if that's the case, then listen to them. But it's ironic. A lot of the people that have something to say usually don't have much to show for. Okay, so just be reluctant to take advice when somebody starts spewing bullshit, and don't react emotionally. Look at this stuff analytically. At least if you're trying to leverage money, leverage gains, or hack this game of life, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take analytical thinking, and it's going to take you seeing through the bullshit and not being a sheep.